Hey folks, welcome back to the shop. Another hot day. It's North Carolina. I guess I just need to get used to it and stop saying, hey, it's another hot day. Um, Project for this week is one I have been thinking about for a long time and never actually just pulled the trigger on it. Um, the church has a car show coming up. Pretty big car show. If you're in the Greensboro area in the first Sunday of August, come to Shiloh Methodist Church. Big car show. Over 100 cars last year. So last year was the first year they had little booths set up, just a handful, not very many. And so I decided I would just put a table out with some woodworking projects. And this is going to be one of them. And I think, especially at a car show, this is going to be great. So this is what I'm making. I know, big deal, right? A Chevy logo. What this is going to become is a picture frame. And then whoever owns a Chevy, they can put a picture of their car in this frame, and I think it'd be kind of cool. You kind of already saw me stressing out about the measurements and everything. I can't print one big enough to be the size that I want it to be right off the rip. And here's the thing, if you're going to do this, car guys will call you out if your measurements are off. They just absolutely will. I'm a car guy. I know. So I have to nail the measurements. And what you saw previous to this was me not nailing the measurements. This will, unfortunately, I don't see how it could work for a Ford logo, which is just a blue oval, because apparently Ford has no original thought. And Chrysler logo, the star logo, while it is geometric and should play well with a picture, just the way it's designed, the Chevy logo lends itself to being a picture frame because of that square in the middle. So anyway, that's what I'm working on. I have to tell you, last week's video of making the cross, it was really nice to just turn all the sounds off and do a voiceover. Because then I can listen to music in the shop. And I got to tell you, it is so incredibly boring to just be out here with no music. Yes, I could turn the TV on, but even I have to turn the sound down for that. You know, the whole copyright infringement thing. We don't want that. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'll go ahead and finish getting this drawn. And this is just a template. I'm just making this to be a template because if this works, I'll probably make more of them. So I'm just going to get busy. And we'll see how it turns out. Okay, this is my first attempt. And I say first attempt because it's not right. I would like to tell you that I was able to get this done in like 20 minutes. No, I have been working on this for hours. There's some intricacies in this logo. For instance, what I have is a square. It is not supposed to be a square. It's actually a rectangle. And so I have to get those dimensions after 5:30 because I done wore out my Chat GPT for today and I ain't gonna pay for it. But I want to get the exact dimensions. It might be as easy as just shaving a 1/4 inch off top and bottom. I don't know, but it's close, but it's not right. So I'm going to dinner tonight, so I will see you guys tomorrow where hopefully I'm a little bit more sane. Okay, I'm back. I'd like to tell you it's the next day. It is not. It's actually, I think, 2 days later. I have some fans running. Hopefully that doesn't drown out the microphones. It's currently working, so it shouldn't. But I think I'm finally ready to move forward on this. Then I went back to the old AI, Chat GPT, and we started working on this. Now, I'm not going to explain the whole process because it became rather involved. What I will tell you is one, I said, I ain't paying for that. Well, guess what? I'm paying for it now. Now, listen, don't get up in arms and say, oh, Pastor Fred's making AI content. I'm not that smart. First off, I don't. Besides that, if I'm going to make an AI character of me, do you think it's going to look like this? No. But we had to do some things to another third party website, yada, 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 get a clear image of that. Then we could start working on the measurements. This all comes down to the measurements. Don't forget, this was so important to me. The measurements had to be right. So what I'll do is I have basically the progression of what we came up with and tweaked and changed and things like that. But we came out with a solid, accurate drawing that I can use. And so I'll just go ahead and put those up now. So this is the first drawing that we came up with, and this is based on measurements that I gave ChatGPT, and they were obviously wrong. This one doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look right. And this was based on a 17.5-inch wide tip to tip, but that threw the center measurement off. I needed this to be 6.5 inches wide, that center part. So this was the second attempt. And right off the rip, you're going to say, oh, that left wing's the wrong direction. And it is. But I was told that this was going to be a mirrored image view. The problem with this one is that that bottom drop down is not the same as the top. That was a problem. Okay, third drawing, really dialing it in. This is all correct. And you'll notice at the right-hand side, although you can't see it, there are proper measurements from every point to point, which means I can take this, and if I wanted to draw out the lines myself, I could. But there was another option. It gave me this option that would print out across multiple pages, and I could tape it together for one overall large stencil. Okay, so with all of that said, now here it is on a Saturday morning. Coffee. Saturday morning. I went ahead and brought some oak in last night or yesterday while I was in between chats and it was raining. And so I brought that in. I need to get that milled up. I'm making this out of oak. And yeah, enough about that. Let's just get to it. Okay, I was going to check back in, but having microphone problems again. I don't know. I think that's probably because my iPhone's getting old and it doesn't want to do this stuff no more. Anyway, as you saw, I cut out the template and taped it together as probably not as precise as what the GPT gave it to me in, but I mean, you know, if guys, down in his man cave and they've had a couple of carbonated beverages and he looks up on the wall, he's going to be like, hey, that's a fine looking frame right there. I think it's what I'm saying is I think it's within fractions of an inch. Okay. So I decided to put this on MDF because once I take this template off, it'll be lost forever. And now I have it. Okay. Now I get to see one thing I get to see. Remember this tragedy? I mean, aside from the fact that well, no, it's just not. Math. It eludes me. Okay, we'll put that in the fireplace now. Can you burn MDF? Someone tell me. I don't know. Okay, now what I can do is take and by the way, yeah, my shirt did change colors. It hasn't rained. It's supposed to rain. It hasn't rained. I went in the house to get tape. Thought I was going to freeze to death. And the AC's only set at 78. Anyway, now I can transfer this onto an actual piece of oak and go back to the bandsaw and hopefully cut that out semi-accurately. No. Okay, I just came back out, went in to have lunch and sit in some cool weather in there, and decided to map out where the picture is going to be in there, because this was going to involve things like a place to sit down, reading glasses, and stuff like that. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I have to cut this with a jigsaw, which takes all of my perfect measurements completely and throws them out the window, because now it's how accurate am I with the jigsaw. So I am somewhere in here. Let's turn that a little bit so I can see where the blade's at. I have a Forstner bit in here, and I think right there. And I think I'm going to drill all the way through this. Yeah, I know I'm going to drill all the way through this. Shush now. I hope that base is lined up. Must have been. Ugh, blowout. Gimme. Oh yeah, total blowout. That's okay, we'll sand that. It'll be fine. And I'm going to do that on all four corners, and that way I don't have to worry about where the jigsaw is going to end up and stuff like that. I'm just going to go ahead and do it. You guys know. You know. So this is my setup. Basically, it's just clamped to the tabletop. I thought I was going to do voiceovers for all this and listen to music. Yes, I did change my shirt. I couldn't go in and sit down to eat lunch. It was soaked. Anyway, let's get to this. My ability to make this semi-straight, and I'm hitting a clamp. That's not going to work. Let go. Okay. rest of this is just doing like a jigsaw doing jigsaw things. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this, and I'll get back to you. Okay. I have to somehow cut a rabbit in this thing. That's going to be an 1/8 inch. You know, up there. I don't have a clue if I'm doing this right. What I had done was took me basically a straight bit, changed the bearing on it to a smaller bearing, and listen, if I'm right, tell me, and if I'm wrong, tell me. I have a limited amount of bits, but I got a pretty good selection. Measuring from the bearing to the edge of the cutting surface is 1/8 inch. I feel like I should have safety glasses on for this. Is this the dumbest thing I've ever done? No. I was young once. I did a lot of dumb stuff. I don't see this as being really, I don't know. It's either going to work or it's not. It's not like I have 4 days and hours and heat, and, you know. I just have to plug this. Can I just plug it in? Not on, hopefully. Not on. Yay! Should probably have ear protection. Notice I'm not getting it. Looking back, it occurs to me that that's not at all what I said I was going to do. Was it? I cut it off for a 1/4 inch reveal, and I just cut it an 1/8. And now that's everything I got on that bit. So, yeah, let's... Alright, let me figure this out and then we'll come back. Okay, so there it is. Picture cut out and everything. This one's going to become mine because this was a learning process on this one. And because I've owned a couple Chevys that are worthy of this. More on that later, maybe. Who knows? But, for instance, I thought that you could get a 1/4 inch rabbiting bit. And nobody sells them. They do on Amazon, but it wasn't going to be here in time. Mine is 3/8. And I said, well, it's an 1/8 inch. But it became enormous. I need to figure out a better measurement for my picture slot. So what I've had to do is glue some pieces in there to take up that difference. This is going to be against the wall when you hang it up. You're not going to see it, but I know, and that bothers me. Everything else about this is pretty good to go. The new rabbiting bit should be here on Tuesday. That's nice. Doesn't help me here. But I'd like to make probably 4 or 5 of these for the car show. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stain this. And I went back and forth on this about whether I should stain it or not. And the reason that I'm going to stain it is I know the picture of the 2 pictures. I know both of them would do better if this was stained at least a little bit. Now you remember this can. This, I don't even know what color that is anymore. I've mixed up so many different kinds of stains in there. All I can tell you is that's dark. It's too dark. I don't want it that dark. What this is a stock can of golden oak. That's too light, and I don't want that. So we're just going to, you know, you going to stay up there? We're just going to play Mad Scientist. Here, let's use this. That looks like a proper spoon. Just the old little dab will do you, or in this case 3 or 4. Oop. Oh, that's actually not horrible. Okay. Well, that's, I mean, we're committed to it now. Not really, but that's what I'm going to do. Okay. So I'm going to get this stained and hopefully a coat of poly on it tonight, another coat in the morning, so that I can wrap this video up on a Monday, edit it, and get it out on a Tuesday, because that's kind of how things work around here. So next time you see it, hopefully it'll be up on a wall. This is one of the few pictures I have left of my 72 Chevy. And I think that frames it really well. The only thing I did to finish this was I cut a piece, I have a piece of very thin plexiglass in there and a piece of 1/8 inch MDF. And if you make these, you're going to need a point driver. That's the thing that sticks into the wood and holds all the picture and everything in place. But I love the way this came out. I might make the next ones a little bit bigger, but I have a definitive set of measurements now, and that's what was important. Now I can enlarge or make it smaller if I wanted to. But I appreciate you guys sticking around while I made this. I'll see you on the next one. God bless.